Hey guys, I made some sandwiches. Do you want any?
We'll get drive-through.
Not bad. Not great. Not great.
That saucy sauce. I'm saying. That deep fried sock from McDonald's. Just chasing nostalgia. We brought it all the way back to 95, 97 with the Batman franchise cups from McDonald's. Tomorrow we're gonna wake up. We're gonna be screaming on the toilet, be like, "Get it out! Get it out!" Like the movie Alien. Cheers, brother. Hey everybody, welcome to Twin Talk, a video discussion show where twin brothers Chris and Kevin drink and draw. We'll talk about comic books, movies, and all things pop culture. We are your hosts, Chris Hart,
Kevin Hart.
and today we are talking about Batman and Robin. Stick around to the end of the episode to see how our drawing of Mr. Freeze came out. And if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel for more content. I went a little bit different with the drawing in this one. This movie has a special place in my heart. I did more of a nostalgic thing with it. Some of the Kenner toy line products I wanted to incorporate into this drawing. So I did Batman and Robin versus Mr. Freeze, in the vein of a toy commercial as well as a Silver Age Batman comic. So, hope you like it. I had a lot of fun drawing it. Speaking of toy commercial, Chris, what'd you think about this movie? I think this is nostalgia fuel.
Batman and Robin. Mr. Freeze launches a shivering shockwave. But heat scan Batman's thermal sensors make Freeze sweat. And now the blazing Bat Hammer lights up the night, ready for the final fight, sending the frozen fiend to a massive meltdown. Batman and Robin. Figures and vehicles each sold separately. Batteries not included.
I love this movie for what it is. This movie is infamously bashed for being a big budget live action toy ad, which when you buy into that, it works. I love it. I love it for that reason. I feel like that's its strength, being the toy ad, because when you buy into it, it's like it has a rewatchability factor, right? It's wildly entertaining for all the wrong reasons, but that's what makes it so fun. Like we were talking about before, I would choose to watch this any day over Batman Forever because it's so much more entertaining and fun. The antics that made Batman Forever similar to the 66 Batman, this is cranked up to 25 on this one. Because from the moment this movie starts to the moment it finishes, it's absolutely bonkers. Like, and once again, our Batman changes with George Clooney this time under the cowl, and I feel like he is the modern representation of Adam West. I feel like that's what Joel Schumacher was trying to achieve here. And for the camp factor, he absolutely nails it in this one. Is he my favorite Batman Bruce Wayne? Absolutely not. Is he anyone's favorite Batman Bruce Wayne? Absolutely not. George Clooney does a great job of being George Clooney. He plays himself in this film. And like we said, these movies, they had good casting for what they were at the time. High profile actors, Arnold Schwarzenegger. A lot of people feel he was miscast. I think he's great casting. I think he works very well as Mr. Freeze in this film. I think it's iconic what he does with the role. The ice puns. Oh my goodness, the ice puns. If this was a drinking game, you would have to get freaking hospitalized. Your stomach would have to be pumped out.
Tonight's forecast. A freeze is coming. Allow me to break the ice. You are not sending me to the cooler. Freeze well. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
I believe there's over like 25 ice puns in the film. If you took a shot for every ice pun, oh my god. You'll never wake up. Just make sure that the drinks are on ice. But just going back to about this movie being a toy ad, I just feel like as a kid, we ate that up. We watched this VHS over and over and over and over again. As soon as it ended, we rewound it, played it back. Even tonight, we were like getting ready for it. We just kept playing it on in the background. There's something about this movie that we love. Like we said, it's nostalgia. If I was a 30-year-old man going to see it at the time, would I have been pissed? Absolutely. I feel like the way we felt going to see Wonder Woman 1984 might be how somebody that was our age in 97 might have felt going into this film. Right. But my goodness, the toy line, we had them all, man. We had the heat. We have them right here. I had to rebuy them. We had the whole line. By the way, we got the entire toy line from my grandparents around, what were we, 5 years old when the movie came out? They bought the entire toy line for us. What a treat. This is the fourth Batman film, and at this point, the Batman movies were like Bond films, right? These high-profile, big-budget films. This being the Moonraker of the Batman films. This is the one that you could like put on in the background, have a lot of fun with it, maybe have a couple drinks and have it be an overall enjoyable experience. We know that we can have Batman be super dark, super campy, somewhere in between. There's something to love in each iteration of Batman, and I just feel like this one, like we said, very rewatchable, very entertaining. Is it a good movie? No. But for nostalgic purposes and just like entertainment factor, it's great.
Whereas Batman Forever was, torn between the darkness and the camp factor, this one leans completely into summer camp. Chris O'Donnell as Nightwing, I guess you'd call him. Like, he returns as Robin, and the whole continuity thing is just like so hard for an audience to like comprehend. What are we trying to do here? But I liked his new costume.
How about that cycle he had?
The cycle was incredible.
I think it's called Redbird.
Redbird, yeah.
We had that toy as well.
And even the silhouette it makes in the wall,
absurdity.
Yeah.
Of his actual logo when he crashes through the museum to fight Mr. Freeze. Which, by the way, awesome opening sequence. I liked that Joel Schumacher's films just start off right out of the gate with action sequences. Where, like, we get Batman on a mission, and this one we get Batman and Robin on a mission. Whereas the first two Tim Burton films, you kind of had to wait a little bit. He chose to use the characters sparingly. In these movies, he just has them go and do all the big action, choreographed fights, the colors, the villains, all these different things, the henchmen.
Yeah, Joel Schumacher really knew how to make an entrance, leave a first impression, the lasting impression. And that, to me, of his movies, my favorite moments are the first
ass shots.
The first ass shots. Yes. The first action sequences are always the things that had a lasting impact on me as a kid, and even now, those are the things I remember the most.
Well, as a kid, you're just so amped. You see that Warner Brothers logo turns into ice.
Yes, that's
which,
what I
by
love
the way,
too.
like the Schumacher films, like the logos, the way he worked the logo, right?
To a question mark.
Question mark with the
ice.
bats, and then to ice. Like it just looks cool.
It's very colorful, very theatrical Broadway, like we said with Batman Forever. I mean, for God's sakes, there's even the first scene. Everything is choreographed. It's like a dance. Everything he does in these movies is very well lit, very well choreographed. There's even a spotlight on Mr. Who is operating the spotlight when he's walking and like he's about to like,
I always notice that.
Take over Gotham. It's like, what?
Yeah. How about that security guard that he like throws out of the way to get his gun? He's like, oh! It's like, this is the guy you want protecting the museum.
Yeah.
Which he went there to steal the diamonds, right? Because that's what fueled his suit.
Which is cool.
It is very cool.
That he runs on ice.
And
he's got too much ice around his neck. You know what I'm saying?
And his aesthetic is really cool. I definitely want to get the Funko Pop of Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. Because he just has such a cool look. Not comic accurate, but for a 90s action movie with Batman in it, it looks pretty sick. Like, he's got like the blue teeth, the light up suit. It just looks pretty cool.
I don't mind the suit. I just wish that the helmet was a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because it kind of looks like he's just got like this ice cream cone on his head.
Yeah. Maybe that was intentional.
And it's like they make him look. They have to showcase Arnold Schwarzenegger. I get it, but Batman the Animated Series nails the character both from a visual and storytelling aspect. Even this one, we kind of get like somewhat of an in-depth character with Nora, which is like the best aspect of Mr. Freeze. He's not necessarily a bad guy. He's doing bad things for the sake of good for his wife. The funniest part is that she's like behind a box of sesame chicken and frozen DiGiorno's.
Oh yeah, in the hideout. We see that he's trying to save his wife, and I like that even at the end of the film when he gets defeated, George Clooney, who gave zero to this role, just played himself, not even a hint of changing his voice to be Batman.
Right,
but I do appreciate at the end, he does bring a little bit of drama and emotion to it.
Vengeance isn't power. Anyone can take a life. But to give life, that's true power, a power you once had. So I'm asking you, Victor Freeze, help me save another life.
This is Alfred's movie by far. It's whole movie he's looking for his long lost brother Wilfred. Got Alicia Silverstone as his niece from like London or whatever, Barbara. No comic continuity at all, no James Gordon aspect there at all. Total missed opportunity, but she becomes Batgirl in this movie.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that actually because you pointed it out before. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. It's Alfred's niece, she's not related to Gordon, which I always thought was the coolest part of Barbara Gordon's character is that, she's working with Batman illegally and her father's the, head of police. And that's just not a dynamic at all in this film.
Irony. Yeah.
But I guess it works for the story because Alfred, like you said, he got McGregor syndrome. And I thought that was hilarious too. Like she shows up and she's trying to like take him out of being a butler. I'm here to save my uncle from this, this service of living in service to you guys, this subjugation. of being a butler. And Dick was like, Alfred's happy here. And I was like, Alfred's dying and nobody knows about it. But we see that Alfred's near-death experience is what leads to Barbara becoming Batgirl. A nice, cool introduction to Batgirl, which also helped push the toy line.
Yes.
You know that they just threw her in this, like, we need more toys, we need more vehicles, give her a bunch of outfits and stuff. Especially with Poison Ivy being in this film, like, I'm sure they wanted to incorporate more women because the franchise was just clinging on to how awesome Selena Kyle was in Batman Returns. They needed something else. Chase Meridian wasn't getting the job done, so they brought in Poison Ivy and Batgirl to kind of up the ante.
I thought Uma Thurman did an awesome job as Poison Ivy.
Oh, yeah. She was great in this movie. We had a poster of her growing up, and it was the house we grew up in, so when we moved, you know, Kevin was always around the poster a lot, so we took, there was that line, kiss me and I'll tell. Kevin was always kissing this damn thing. And then when we moved from our house to our new house when we were 10 years old, there was like, there's a lot of holes behind the sheetrock. I don't know what happened. Someone was drilling back there or something.
Yeah, I even remember Joel Schumacher as an adult. You know, as a kid, I ate it up. But as an adult, I was like, yeah, she's not Uma Thurman. She's not exactly like the hottest thing around. Even though Fall Out Boy wrote a song about her.
Yeah.
Even Joel Schumacher said he was like, there was tons of actresses that wanted the role of Poison Ivy. They were like, what is the sexiest woman alive? He was like, you know, in his mind, you know, Uma Thurman fit the role of what he was trying to accomplish. And I think she does a very good job. Like even her entrance, as bonkers as it is with the freaking monkey
She's
business.
dressed up as like a purple monkey.
Yeah, it's just like a monkey, you know, rubbing his nipples and like dancing on men and stuff. It's so bizarre. By far the worst part of this movie is Bane.
Like the 90s, that's when Bane came into existence, and he was such a badass in Nightfall. I remember reading that. Our uncle would read us Nightfall, and like Bane was like the mastermind behind this whole thing against Batman. And then you see this movie, and he's just like an idiot. He's like bumbling buffoon.
Frankenstein's monster, I guess they were going for, because he just repeats people's lines. She's like, oh, we have work to do. He's like, worky.
I thought it was hilarious at the climax of the movie when they all team up. They go to the globe or whatever, the planetarium, to take over. And Mr. Freeze is like, oh, place these ice bombs around the place. He's like, bomb. But he places them within like 2 inches of each other. It's like, one is good for about 15 feet. You don't need to place 6 bombs in a 6-foot vicinity. You can spread these things out. It's still going to do damage. Yeah. And I thought that was hilarious at the end. Like, it takes place, the climax of the film takes place at a planetarium at midnight. And you got, like, Whoopi Goldberg and Dr. Phil working there at midnight. And they're just hanging around for some reason at the climax of this movie. Literally hanging. They're, like, dangling from that thing for, like, 30 minutes. I thought it was a smart thing to do to bring in Poison Ivy because, like we said, Catwoman was so awesome in Batman Returns that they needed a femme fatale in this. And I thought Poison Ivy was a good way to go. Like you said, Uma Thurman crushed it. Very cool looks. I like that she had like different outfits.
Yes.
Very cool stuff. My favorite look of hers is definitely the first one. I think that suits her best. That's the most comic accurate. She had quite a few looks. She's got like that one with like the tits on her head too. The costume department though was so on point in this movie. I was noticing it when I was watching it. Even I love everything about the costumes in this film. Mr. Freeze when he's got like that like winterized robe on with the like polar bear slippers. I love that. And then like the hockey team from hell, their look is cool. I would want to like read this as a comic book. As like a Silver Age comic book. I think it would look so cool. I've recently been watching Batman the Brave and the Bold on HBO Max. It's got that Silver Age flavor, like that just wacky when Batman was fighting like aliens and stuff.
The flair.
It was just weird rainbow Batman, all these space Batman and stuff. Very cool stuff. And I feel like this movie is like the live action version of that wackiness, and I love it for that.
Even the villain's plot, like Adam and Evil, right?
Yeah, that's a great line.
Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze are trying to take over the world. They're gonna be like the only ones left once they like make it an ice world and like this, you know, keep the plants alive or whatever. We see that she winds up backstabbing Mr. Freeze because she kills his wife Nora, and he gets his revenge on her in the jail cell. It's just the two of them alone, and the scene just cuts. I'm very alarmed at that. Very uneasy with how that ends.
I think he says like, "This is my name, learn it well."
Pretty sure it's something sadistic like that. He's just like alone with her in this jail cell. No security guards around, and I'm just left to watch. I even think he says to her, he's like, "Oh, like winter has come at last." And it just pans out. She's like,
he's like, "I'm your new cellmate."
I am your new cellmate. And I've come to make your life a living hell.
On a more serious note, though, the way these movies end, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, I do love the silhouette with the bat signal
running?
and them running. I forgot to mention
Very
that.
cool, yeah.
It's like very iconic. We use that word a lot, but like it was just something that left a lasting impression in our little brains as a kid.
That image, it's just cool seeing like his team grow, and you wonder what would have happened if they kept going on with the franchise. Thank God they didn't, because we got the best Batman movie in Batman Begins after this. But it would have been cool to see, now that they have the team of Batman, Robin, and Batgirl. It would have been cool to see them fighting crime, new villains. I knew they had plans for Batman Triumphant or something like that. It was like Scarecrow and just different things. It would have been cool to see, but I am glad that they rebooted. But what a way to go out.
What's your favorite scene of this?
My favorite scene is very simple. I love the opening sequence of this. I could watch it over and over. In fact, I have. I just think it's really cool seeing Batman going on a mission and Batman and Robin on his motorcycle, Batman in his very vulnerable cockpit where no bulletproof glass in front of him, he's just riding. Yeah. But I just think it's cool when they finally get to the museum and fight them. I think it's an awesome set piece. I think it's hilarious that they're like on rollerblades pretending to be on ice because it was the roller craze of the 90s. The skate thing, when they click their feet and the skates come out, still don't understand that. I just like it. I love how I love how Batman enters in, continues the tradition of Batman coming in through the glass. He rides the dinosaur down to kick Freeze.
They play hockey with a diamond.
With a diamond, yeah. I love Mr. Freeze's vehicle.
They're like surfing in the air. Very cool stuff. But that's the thing is like even that one shot of Robin chasing after him, he's in the middle of the sky, no lights around him, and yet he's somehow still backlit with red. And I was like, Schumacher, like just the theatric. He was like, yeah, like add the whole Broadway aspect to it.
I also like too that opening sequence when they're chasing Mr. Freeze, he's got the goggles on.
Yes.
And he looks awesome. I was like, just keep him like that. He looks great.
Yeah, the freeze gun was very cool too.
I love the sound of the gun. Speaking of sounds, I think it's hilarious that the dinosaur, when he shoots it with the ice and then it breaks, it makes a noise as if it's a living being. And it's like, not only was it just a thing in a museum, it's been extinct for millions of years.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. It's just a very cool opening sequence. The beginning of this movie is the best this movie was and the best it ever got throughout 2 hours.
More of the set pieces when he freezes Gotham. It looks pretty cool. I love when he's got like the telescope looking down and you see Gotham and then you just see Batman, Robin, and Batgirl on their way with those awesome vehicles. I thought that was pretty cool. I think it's hilarious that we never got to see if that dog took a piss or not right before it got frozen. Because when it unfreezes, it just walks away. It's like, was it just soaking in its own urine for the last 2 hours? But overall, fun movie. I love it.
I graded Batman Forever with a 4.5. I really did not care for that movie too much. This one, based purely on nostalgia factor, I want to go a little bit higher, but it's still not a great movie. But I will be somewhat generous.
Lenient.
I guess a 6. I'm going with a 6.
6. That's a good ballpark number for it. There's enough in it. It's very well made without being very well made. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good movie. It's not a good story. But as far as like costume, sets, entertainment value, nostalgic value, it's a fun movie. It's a blockbuster. It's a high grade, but I'm going to go 7 with it.
What did you guys think about Batman and Robin? Let us know in the comments below. Anyways, that about wraps up today's episode of Twin Talk. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below to join the discussion, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. We'll see you next time. Peace!